Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you're returning. It's Fiery Moon, and I am here to do a breakdown of the houses. I know how I had been saying for the longest that I was going to make the video, which would help some of you who may not know how to correlate and or understand the readings, because I know sometimes you all might hear me say, like, check your pull your natal chart, check your placement, see what house the energy could be transiting for you. So here we are, finally doing the video. So I definitely hope that it helps in understanding the energy, and it'll help you as well as understanding to correlate it to your own personal natal chart. So first we'll start with your natal chart. Your natal chart is it's the only way that I can explain it is it's a snapshot of where each planetary body was the day that you were born. To get the most accurate chart, you would need to know your time as well as location of birth in order to, understand it to its most maximum capacity for you. This is only for you. No one, not even twins, have the same natal chart, because twins don't come out at the same time, and so on and so forth for triplets, whatever the case may be. So first you want to be able to pull it. You can pull, you can Google ways to find your or pull your natal chart, but to get the most accurate chart, you would need your location and your time of birth. So with that being said, we're going to start off with just like, I'll give some background on the signs, which we have 4 signs: water signs, air signs, fire signs, and earth signs. Water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sag. And earth signs, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. Now, each sign does have its own modality. So the cardinal signs, which are the, initiator signs, they are Cancer, Libra, Aries, and Capricorn. The mutable signs are Pisces, Gemini, Sag, and Virgo. And then the fixed signs are Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo, and Taurus. So like I said, cardinal signs are the initiators. Mutable signs, they're kind of like a go with the flow type of energy. And the fixed signs are, those signs that are very rooted and fixated, and or very they're saying unbudging when it comes to that specific energy. So each planet rules a sign as well as a house. So with the planets, we have, I'm going to start it off like with the houses and the signs. So first house is Aries, which is ruled by Mars. Second house is Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. Third house is Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury. Fourth house is Cancer, which is ruled by the Moon. Fifth house is the Leo energy, and it's ruled by the Sun. Sixth house is Virgo, and it is ruled by Mercury as well, because some signs do share planetary energy as well. Then we have the 7th house, which is Libra, and that's ruled by Venus, and it shares that with Taurus. 8th house is Scorpio, which is ruled by Mars, and the old time or ancient ruler was Pluto. 9th house is ruled, or is Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter. The 10th house is Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn. 11th house is Aquarius, which is ruled by Saturn as well. Saturn and Uranus, to an extent, or at least that's just how I feel. I don't know if that's a fact, quote unquote, but I feel a lot of Uranian energy with Aquarius, which I believe it is. I think it's co-ruled by Aquarius, or Uranus, excuse me. And then we have the 12th house, which is Pisces, which is ruled by Jupiter, and shares that with Sagittarius, and Neptune as well. Now, each sign has an opposite sign, and which would play out in opposite houses as well. So for Aries, the opposite house would be the 7th house, which would be Libra. Taurus would be Scorpio, the 2nd and the 8th house. Gemini is Sagittarius, the 3rd and the 9th house. Cancer is Capricorn, which is the 4th and the 10th house. Leo is the opposite, is Aquarius, which would be the 5th and the 11th house. And then Virgo, the opposite, is Pisces, which would be the 6th and the 12th house. So the houses, each house represents basically, or the way that I like to look at it is, the planet shows you what, the sign shows you how, and the house shows you where. So the first house is normally looked at as the house of the self, which is you. It's Aries energy, it's your identity, and that correlates to the 7th house, which is the house of relationships, which would be Libra, and how you are able to correlate your individuality with the first house to your relationships, the 2nd house. Any type of relationship, no matter what it is, this is not exclusive to romance, like it's all in how we relate to ourselves, to others. The 2nd house is your house of values, whether that's people, places, things, and it correlates to the 8th house, which 2nd house is Taurus, 8th house is Scorpio. That would be the house of, they like to say, it's really like a power struggle house, because, Taurus is fixated earth. So you're fixated in the things that, or you can be fixated in the things that you, or people, places, and things that you value. But how do you, in a way, like, the way I look at it is, how do you feel about that? Do you want to, because, 8th house is Pluto energy. It's very transformative. It likes power and control. It is also like the house of sex. So, correlate that as you will. The 3rd house, which correlates to your, your surroundings, your environment, and also your mind and how you learn. And that correlates to the 9th house, which is Sag, of, spirituality, with Jupiter being there. Your, how do you grow, your experiences, your spirituality, and or religion for some of you, if you like that word better. But the 4th house is, it deals with your security, your own security within yourself. It's the house of privacy, of, it's Cancer, of, how can I say, what's the word I want to use? It's the house of, caring. How do you care? How do you nurture? Correlated it to the 10th house, which is Capricorn. And it's, Capricorn is your work, your career, your status, how you structure yourself, and the relationships to that. 5th house is the house of expression. At least that's how I like to look at it. It's love, it's playfulness, it's fun, it's humor. It's ruled by Leo. But the 11th house, which would be Aquarius, goes along with, like, how do you use that energy, at least for me. How do you use that energy to socialize and network and build associations? And how do you express yourself in those capacities or in that capacity? And then the sixth house deals with your, your daily life and your routine. It is, Virgo, Mercury energy. So how you think, how you communicate, how you analyze, and how do you correlate that to like your dreams, your imagination, with the 12th house being Pisces, which is the unconscious, or what's hidden. So in getting into your natal chart, when you pull it, you want to see what your ascendant sign is. And this is, in order to get your ascendant sign, when you pull your chart, you need to know the time of your birth, because the ascendant correlates to the time of where the moon was at based on the hour you were born. Because the moon transits, I want to say a transit, is it a house? Yeah, I think it's a house every 2 hours. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, I think it's every 2 hours. The moon transits the houses. So you would need to definitely know your time of birth as well as the location to get your ascendant sign. So your ascendant sign is how others see you. So when you pull your natal chart, your ascendant is going to actually start at your first house. From the first house, from whatever your ascendant sign is, then the rest of the signs fall. Your natal chart will give you your, like, the exact degree of where each of your planet placements is, because sometimes you may have, overlapping houses. So for instance, let's say if you pull your natal chart and you're a Scorpio ascendant. So Scorpio would be your first house. Your seventh house would be Taurus. Third house, or your second house, or excuse me, your seventh house, the opposite of Scorpio, would be Taurus. So that would make your second house Sag, third house Capricorn, fourth house Aquarius, fifth house Pisces, a sixth house Aries, and you would just follow the way the signs go. Most people think that the signs start at Capricorn because that's just how, for whatever reason that we won't get into here, we are moving on Saturn cycles just collectively in this physical reality. But the first house actually start, and the first sign is Aries. So even if you're like an Aries ascendant, Aries would be your first house, and then you would go on down through, Aries through Pisces. So right now, let me just pull up the transits, because we're gonna see right now. Hold on. Astro. And the way, like, I guess, like, the easiest way to, correlate it is just like how we correlate, like, the time on the clock. Because we have 1 through 12, we see, although they have 12 starting right at the top, like I said, we're on a Saturn cycle for whatever reason. So I'm just pulling up the transits. All right. Ooh. So right now we currently have the sun is in Leo, moon is in Virgo, Mercury is still in Leo retrograde, Venus in Gemini, Mars is in Virgo right now. So the moon is going to go over Mars as well as the South Node today as I'm recording this. We have Jupiter still in Cancer, Saturn and Neptune are both retrograding in Aries, Uranus is in Gemini, and Pluto is still retrograde in Aquarius. So the ascendant right now is in Virgo, according to my time and location right now for today. So if you're an ascendant Virgo, Virgo would be your first house. So where the moon is at today, being that it is in Virgo, you would be reacting and responding to yourself, with it being the first house, in a very Virgo, mutable earth type of way. So you would be reacting because the moon is our reactions, the sun is our action, the moon is our reactions. So if you're ascendant Virgo, you would be reacting and responding to how you analyze and communicate within yourself. So, take that, how it resonates for you. But that is, basically how to understand your natal chart. So if you're ever listening to one of my readings and I'll say, okay, see where, this energy, like see where Leo energy would be transiting for you. If you're a Virgo ascendant, Leo would be in your 12th house. So you would be, whatever planet, if it's Mercury, which is ruled by Virgo, Mercury is how we think, communicate, and analyze. So if that's in your 12th house, with it being in Leo right now, it's how do you analyze, communicate, and think about your dreams, your imagination, your, what you keep, what's not seen, with it being your 12th house. So I know like this can be a lot for people that don't, truly understand. But, you can always, come back and replay this video. You can, like I said, always pull your natal chart to see, where the energy is playing out for you. Yes, when you pull your natal chart, it will be, according to your sun, your solar natal chart. But then you also, like, depending on what website you use, you can look at it per the transits, which is what I like to do, because I know my personal natal chart. I like to look at where the planets are, currently transiting for me. So even right now, with me being a Capricorn ascendant, I have Virgo in my 9th house, which is my house of spirituality. So with the moon or even the sun is in my 8th house, because Virgo is my 9th house. So Leo is in my 8th house. So I am, with this transit, analyzing, communicating, and thinking about my spirituality and reacting and responding to that, within an experience with 9th house being Sag and Jupiter, and communicating it with you. So you can see how sometimes the energy is playing out for you. And sometimes it won't always be like that. I guess like this was just the day, especially with the sun being in Leo. This is me bringing up, things that are in my 8th house, which is, Leo is very expressive, but the 8th house is that, that Scorpio energy, things that we, it can also like kind of sort of play off like a 12th house energy, because it's things that we keep, hidden. Scorpios are very deep, but they're very fixated in, whatever it is that they fixate on, wherever Scorpio falls for you. So Scorpio for me plays out in my 11th house. So it deals with my socializing and my networking and my association. So it just gives you a little picture of how the energy plays out. Another way my guides are like, tell them this, tell them this. So, you guys know, like, if you watch my readings, like, there's a whole bunch of different cards, and I use my cards as I'm guided to use, but they're drawing me to the Black Moon Astrology deck, which each house and energy in there, is correlated to a certain I statement. So the first, for the first house, with it being Aries, that statement is I am. Then we have for the second house, which is Taurus, we have I have. Third house is Gemini, so that's I think. Fourth house is Cancer, which is I feel. Fifth house is Leo, which is I will. Look, I opened right up to it too. Aries, I am. Sixth house, which would be Virgo energy right now, is I analyze. Libra is I balance. Scorpio is I transform. Sagittarius is I see. Capricorn is I use. Aquarius is I know. Pisces is I believe. So you can use those statements as well, and they can help you, when you're looking at your own natal chart. And this could, I personally don't recommend like trying to, unless I don't do anything without, permission when it comes to other people. So I don't recommend you try to read somebody else's natal chart. I mean, there is a chart where if you know and you have the okay to go ahead and look at, or use someone's natal chart, which would be getting a synastry report to see how your energy and planets correlate as far as like the aspects, which would be like a conjunction, meaning the signs are in the same sign, or you have the oppositions, which would be the opposite signs. You have the sextiles, which would be the opposite element, like water and earth are opposite elements, but the energy sextiles each other if it's not the exact opposite. The trines are how the signs work together. So all the water signs, all the air signs, all the fire signs, they create trines. And then you have in conjunctions, which means like they're the signs that are on the sides, both sides of the opposite sign from you. So if you're in Aries, your opposite would be Libra, but your in conjunction signs would be Virgo and Scorpio, because they're on both sides, on either side of Libra energy. So yeah, I just wanted to, like get that out. I feel like I, did it kind of fast, but that's just how it comes to me. Like again, like I said, I don't recommend you trying to read somebody else's chart until you, have their permission, one. But also, this is for you. This is, it's not for, anything else other than to get to know yourself. Like, this is how, at a deeper level. So yeah, I think like, look, the Virgo moon playing out. Yeah, I think like this, it has been very helpful. It still is very helpful to me. Like I said, I like to use the, look at the transits of where the planet is now, or the planets are now, to see where this energy, is playing out for me, for myself. Again, and yeah, I hope like this helps. So it'll give you guys just a little bit, like another layer to what is, how to interpret the readings for you. Because I know I always say every reading, like take what resonates, leave the rest, know your know your placements, know your energy for one. And this is just like a beginning layer. I've been wanting to do this, and I guess today decided to come out, so here it is. Like I said, we are in the Sun and Leo energy, which is very expressive, is very being out there. Leo energy wants, it likes being seen, although that's not me. This is, a square energy for me, so I'm learning, because this is normally, like stuff that like I keep to myself, because I got into this for a sense of understanding of me only. So, but I'm learning. It's learning, and here we are. Because ninth house, at least for me, it deals with education. It's Jupiter energy. It's wanting to learn, and like I am one of those people. But like I said, correlated to your own natal chart, there's millions of websites. Like I said, you can Google, or you can find you an app that can show you, that you can get your natal chart from, and start there. But this was just a very basic breakdown of the energies, to help you guys. As we move through this channel, I felt like this is something that is very needed. Just as another tool, another layer you can add to when you're watching tarot readings, because a lot of tarot readers, and there's no shade, no hate, no shade, don't really correlate the planets in a way that I do. So this is really just helpful. It's helpful in totality, but especially when it comes to my readings, I feel like this breakdown was necessary. And as far as the planets goes, I will say, or I'll give you guys, the sun deals with, the self and the ego. The moon deals with the emotions. Mercury is like the intellect and communication. Venus deals with, love and beauty. Mars deals with, passion, power, aggression, conflict. Jupiter is luck, growth, and wisdom. Saturn is, the discipline and challenges. Uranus is innovation and change. Neptune's, deal with the dreams, imagination, and, healing as well. And then we have Pluto, which is the house of, death, transformation, and all of that good stuff. So, yeah. And if I didn't break down the squares are how all four modalities aspect each other. So like I said, we have conjunctions, which are the same signs in the same sign, or the same sign. So sometimes you can have conjunctions within your chart. You're going to have trines, you're going to have squares, and you're going to have oppositions, as well as the inconjunctions. And that plays a part as well. But once you learn your natal chart, it does get easier to understand the transiting planets. Yeah, so I definitely hope that this was helpful for some of you. I'm just doing my part. I don't know how this is going to affect the readings moving forward, but I can feel like, at least within myself, like a shift. Coming from this. And it's for whoever, it resonates for. It doesn't have to resonate with you at all. You may not want to know that, but it kind of just makes understanding the tarot readings much easier. So, yeah, I thank you all for tuning in with me. I definitely hope this was helpful. I hope everyone enjoys their weekend. I don't know, like I said, if there's even going to be a weekly reading this week. Yeah, I don't know. I'll see, how I feel, what my guides instruct. But yeah, thank y'all for tuning in with me. I hope, like I said, everyone enjoys the rest of their weekend, and I will see y'all on the next one. All right, later.